Hi, my name is Dee, and this, Ellie, come here. This is Lady Eleanor, my service dog, and we're going to tell you our experience about the tattoo convention we went to. Right? Last Saturday I went to a tattoo convention. It was my first tattoo convention ever, and also my first tattoo convention with a service dog. So I was extremely nervous. I wasn't sure how I was going to handle it. I wasn't sure how Ellie was going to handle it. I wasn't sure if there was going to be other service dogs there, and it was kind of scary at first. So I decided to make this video to give tips and to tell you my experience about going to a tattoo convention with a service dog. So there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration because this isn't like a normal convention. This isn't like a normal convention where you're up and walking around, seeing different things. I mean, if you're not getting a tattoo, then that's what it's like. But if you are getting a tattoo like I wasn't up walking around a lot and, looking at many different things. So things to take into consideration. Is your dog old enough, and is it well behaved enough to be able to stay in a downstay or a sit-stay for long periods of time? Number 2, is your dog reliably potty trained? Can they hold it long enough for you to get a tattoo or long enough for you to be able to take a break and potty them? Number 3, it's just like going anywhere else with a dog. You're going to get stared at, and you're going to get compliments, and you're going to get the oohs and ahs and the screams. So if you're uncomfortable already being in a crowd, you probably shouldn't bring your service dog. Now I'm going to get into the things that I brought and things that I didn't bring. Me personally, I like to bring my backpack that has all the things that I need in it and all the things that Ellie needs in it. My backpack included a cleanup kit that consisted of Lysol, alcohol, some scent stuff just in case there was an accident, which there wasn't, and poop bags. Other things that I brought in my bag were a water bowl, treats, e-collar just in case, blankets for your dog to lay down on. I wanted to bring a yoga mat because it was a lot softer, but I didn't have time to go out and buy one. So I brought extra blankets for the dogs to lay down on because the concrete floor was cold. And then more for my side of my needs, I brought gloves, my masks, Benadryl, food, which is very important. I started to get extremely dizzy and nauseous, so I had to eat something. Snacks come in handy. It definitely helped me because I thought I was going to pass out. And pain meds like naproxen or Tylenol or anything like that to help if you get a headache or if you start to feel pain, anything like that. Things that I wish I did bring that I didn't. Noise canceling headphones. I wished I had noise canceling headphones or headphones for music. I wish I would have brought extra clothes or something to keep me warm because the spot that I got my tattoo on, my hip side of my butt area, I was very exposed in shorts and I was freezing. So if you're getting a tattoo somewhere there, bring a blanket. There was another service dog there. I don't know what company it was through or what organization it was through, but I will say it was sweet, but it was not well behaved at all. So even though it didn't bark, it was lunging in a playful way. It was pulling its owner towards us. The guy was a pretty burly dude, so he could hold the dog back, but it was this beautiful, sweet golden retriever, and it was just very out of line. And he just kept making excuses like, oh, he's so excited to play and he just wants to meet your dogs. And we just kept telling our dogs, no, leave it. And our dogs did perfectly. They didn't, try to get to the other dog. They did look for a little bit, and then once we told them to leave it, they listened. But that dog was very distracting, and I believe our dogs did pretty well for that. Other than that, I don't believe I saw any other service dogs there that whole entire Saturday, which was pretty interesting. I thought there would have been more because there was a big veteran thing going on. So now I'm going to get into the experience of actually being there. So when we first got there, I was extremely nervous. Everybody was giving me looks, obviously, because I had a dog and her toenails were painted and everybody was complimenting her toenails, and it's like nobody's ever seen a dog before. Surprise, surprise. So what I did was I met up with my tattoo artist outside out front because I got super nervous. And he also had to get me in because I had an appointment and it was early. They actually stopped me at the door and they told me that I couldn't go in because it was too early. He had to come up and he had to tell them that I had an appointment, and then they let me in. Next, we walked to his booth, and then I noticed that there was a table. I ended up putting Ellie and my friend's dog Grim underneath the table on the blankets. It was actually the perfect place because nobody could see them because there was a tablecloth over it. It was great. Next, I had to lay down and get my tattoo done. So that took, I think we did 2.5 hours before we took a break. Then we took a break. I had to use the restroom and I had to potty the dogs. And then we went back and I put the dogs back under where they relaxed, and I went to getting my tattoo again. Halfway through the second hour and a half-ish, I started to get really queasy and, dizzy. Pots started kicking in. Like, every time I stood up, I was getting so dizzy I thought I was going to pass out. So I had to take a snack. I had to get something to drink. And then I laid back down and continued. So after that 2.5 hours, and we finally finished, it was time for the competition. I was entered in 2 competitions for the tattoo that I got. So for the first one, there was a lot of people entered in that competition. I had Ellie out there for the first one. She was in a downstay behind me in between 2 tables. I ended up giving her to my friend who was holding Grim at the time because people kept coming in and out of the 2 tables, which was really frustrating for me because they were stepping over her. I had to keep moving. As uncomfortable as I was, I had to give Ellie back to somebody while I was in line while the judges were looking at my tattoo. So obviously I didn't end up winning the first competition. We went and started walking around, just hanging out, trying to stretch my legs because I had been laying down for about 5 hours. We went and visited some booths. Of course, we got stopped everywhere to talk about the dogs, to pet the dogs, to look at their patches, all that stuff. So they continued the other competitions until it was finally the second competition that I was in. So I went up this time without Ellie. I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to deal with the people. I didn't want to keep moving out of the way. I already felt like a burden enough, so I just left Ellie with my friend. I didn't win that competition either, which was completely fine. By that time, I was exhausted. That took a lot out of me. But overall, everything went pretty smooth. It wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. The dogs behaved really well. The tattoo was fun. The competitions were okay. I was burnt out, but it was something that I would probably do again.